We're gonna go over this unit circle again, and the reason that I give you two different copies is because I work at two different, like dealing with two different things. So if you have highlighters, go ahead and use that. If not, that's fine too. But don't highlight everything, just highlight what I'll highlight. Guys. Yeah, so we're gonna split it into fourths, and we're gonna ignore the rest of them for the minute. Guys. All right. So your main diagonals, and then, like I said, when you split it into fourths, in a minute, we'll do the other ones and split it into six, are the ones that you need to be concerned with, because that will help you. If we're dealing with the unit circle, to get here to this point, we go over 1 and up none. We start at 0 degrees, and a full circle is 360. As far as radians, we have 0 pi and 2 pi. All right, again, your main diagonal, so that cross right through the middle, that's what we're going to work on first. What is your coordinate up here if it's a unit circle? You went over 0 and up 1. What angle does this form? Yeah, so a quarter of the circle forms a 90 degrees. Everybody good with that? Or if it's 360, what's 360 divided by 4? 90. It's a quarter of the circle. And then we'll talk about the radians in a minute. So I just want to get the points and the degrees. All right, so what about this coordinate right here? We went backwards 1 or left 1, up none. Half the circle is 180. And what about your radians if it's half? So this was 0 or 2 pi, what would be half that? Just pi or 1 pi. All right, so now let's go back and look at this. If this is 2 pi, this is 1 pi, what would this one be? It's halfway or half pi, 1 over 2 pi. And we'll talk again about that one at the top. To the very bottom, what is 3/4 of the circle? What if I've been adding every time? 90. So 180 plus 90 is 270. This was 0 pi. This was 1/2, 1. What's this one going to be? 3 pi. Is everybody good with that? Yeah. So we split it into fourths. This is 0 over 4, 2 over 4. We'll talk about it in a minute. 4 over 4. 6 over 4. So is this right? Should be 3 pi over 2. If you write in pen, sorry. Okay. You'll learn more when you get it wrong and when you get it right. Again, we'll talk about that diagonal again in just a minute. All right, so there are your main diagonals. Go ahead and tell me your point down here. Then we split it into fourths, or if we're talking about this is 90 degrees, what would halfway be? 45. Again, we split it into fourths. So pay attention carefully, your main diagonals. We have 0 over 4, 1 over 4. What's 2 over 4? So there's your 1/2. This would be 3 over 4. 4 over 4. What's your next one going to be? 5/4. Just make sure you put the pi on it. The next one would be 6 pi/4 or 3 pi/2. So you don't have to memorize it. You just count by fourths. This is 6 pi/4. What's this one going to be? We said the degrees were going by what? 0 to right here, pointing at it. 45 plus 45 is, how do I get the next one? Plus 45 is 135. Plus 45 is 180. If you need your calculator, get it out. 180 plus 45 is, say it again. Plus 45 is 270. Plus 45 is, say it again. Sorry, I just can't hear you. So what are the radians? What do we count by? Radians we count by the pi's. Pi/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, so on and so forth. Make sure you reduce those for me. Okay, you're gonna have a quiz on this unit circle tomorrow. Make sure you reduce those for me. All right, and then your coordinates for 45s are the easiest to remember because they're always the same. Okay, they're always the same. So for 45, remember a 45, 45, 90 triangle is an isosceles triangle. Does everybody understand that? So that means both sides are the same. That means your X and your Y are the same. So your 45s are square root of 2/2. So your 45 coordinates are square root of 2/2. Remember that in quadrant 1, your coordinates are positive, positive. What are they in quadrant 2? Negative, positive. So right here on this 45-degree angle, it's still going to be square root of 2/2. Just the first one's going to be negative because it falls in quadrant 2. Does everybody understand that? All right, pop down to the bottom. Quadrant 3 has what coordinates? Negative, negative. So that means at this main diagonal, you're still going to have the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. Just both of them will be negative because they fall in quadrant 3. So I got it. So then what is quadrant 4? Positive, negative. So what is the coordinate right here? Good. Square root of 2/2, negative square root of 2/2. So again, your diagonals go by fourths, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, so on and so forth. Your degrees go by 45s, and your coordinates are always. How do you figure out the signs? Depends on what quadrant it's in. So I got it. That simple. Don't make it any harder. So that's what you need to study. Main diagonals go by fourths and 45s. Everybody got that? Your coordinate is? Which coordinates? Square root of 2/2. And how do you know the signs? Whatever quadrant it's in. Got it? All right. So then your second one that I give you, we're going to do the other diagonals. So you're still going to do your main plus diagonal. But this time, we're going to leave off the 45s and we're just going to do the 6. So it looks like this. So if you look, I split the top half into 6 parts. I split the other one into how many parts? 4, and we counted by fourths. Count by sixes. We'll let you highlight and then we'll go from there. Do what? On purpose? Oh. Do you need a different one? I think I have 2. Okay. All right. Is everybody done highlighting almost? Sorry. Of course, Haley's gonna mess it up. I don't know where my, she just brought some copies up here. Oh, I got them. Pardon me. Got 2. That's all I got left. No, it's not. They're the same. Printed at the same time. All right, go ahead and go around to your main cross and put those coordinates and everything else that you had. So we have 1, 0, 0 degrees and 360 degrees, 0 pi and 2 pi. Up at the top, you had 0, 1, 90 degrees, pi over 2. To the side, -1, 0, 180, and pi. And then your 270, so 0, -1, 270, and 3 pi over 2. So make sure you put those. And then we'll talk about the other ones. So we'll do our radians first, and we said they go up by 1/6. And why do they go up by 1/6? 6 parts in the top. Does everybody understand that? They said off the top. So this would be pi over 6, so 1/6. What comes next? 2 pi over 6, but it reduces to. And if you want to put your 2 pi over 6 and then reduce it to pi over 3, that is perfectly fine. Your next one would be 3 pi over 6, and 3 over 6 reduces to 1/2. So it all turns out the same. So we had 1/6, 2/6, 3/6. This one is 4/6. So 4 pi over 6, which reduces to. What would your next one be? 4 pi over 6. Count. 5 pi over 6. That one will not reduce. 6 pi over 6 reduces to 1 pi. So 6 over 6. The next one would be 7 pi over 6. The next one would be. And guys, if you need to do this on your quiz, that's perfectly fine, but I want you to reduce them. What would it actually be? 4 pi over 3. 8 pi over 6. This one would be 9 pi over 6, which reduces to 3 over 2. What comes after 9 pi over 6? 10 pi over 6, which reduces to. Perfect. And then after 10 pi over 6. And that will not reduce. And then we go back up to 12 pi over 6, which will be 2 pi. Very good. So what, how many radians are each one? We count by 1/6. The other one we count by 1/4. All right. Our degrees, you can do this 2 ways. I told you a minute ago, you split 90 into 2 parts. 90 divided by 2 is 45. That's how you got your 45. This time we split it into 3 parts. 90 divided by 3 is 30. So we're going by 30 degrees. Everybody see how that works? Or 180 divided by 6, or 360 divided by 12. It doesn't matter. However you see it, that's the degrees that you're going. So we're going by 30s. What's your next one going to be? 60. And then we have 90 plus 30 is 120 plus 30 is plus 30 is, there's our 180 plus 30 is 210 plus 30 is 240 plus 30 is, there's our 270 plus 30 is plus 30 is plus 30 is 360. Anything hard? You just got to remember, main diagonal is by 1/4, the other one's by 1/6, and then your coordinates. So I think this is the hardest one to remember, but if you can remember the first one, you can get all the rest of them. Remember, their signs are based off what? What quadrant they're in, okay? So if we look at this very first one, it is square root of 3/2, 1/2. If we remember, and we should, but if we don't, sine is your y coordinate and cosine is your x coordinate. We'll throw that up there for a minute. Remember, we talked about the ones you need to know are sine at 0 and cosine at 0, right? Yes. What was sine of 0? Right here. At 0 degrees, sine of 0 is your y coordinate at 0. What was cosine of 0? 1. That's what it's based off of. Everybody see that? So if we're doing 30, I'm gonna show you on my calculator, just in case you forget tomorrow, which one goes first, okay? In case you forget. I'm gonna put it in degree mode just because that's the one that I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna do sine of 30. Sine is your y coordinate. Why didn't I do cosine? Well, because I know that cosine is going to give me a crazy decimal, but then I should know that, hey, that's square root of 3/2. It doesn't, there's no other coordinates, okay? So these numbers just keep rotating around. Does everybody understand that? So 45s are what? Square root of 2/2, and everything is based off wherever quadrant it's in. And then your 60s or your 30s and 60s are square root of 3/2, 1/2. Your next one up here, you're just going to rotate the coordinate. So if I put in cosine of 60, what am I going to get? 0.5 because it's your x coordinate. So I see that? Okay. These are the ones that they'll give you in your non-calculator active because you're supposed to already know the unit circle from pre-calc. So if they ask you cosine of pi/3, cosine is your x coordinate, you're going to give them 1/2. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't need the calculator for that because it's right there on your paper. All right. Keep going. This one is at the same place as this one. So we're going to write it. But what's different about this coordinate? The first one's going to be negative. Again, this quadrant is negative positive. Guys, these coordinates have to be the same because they mirror each other from the y-axis. Does everybody understand that? So then these two will mirror each other. These two will mirror each other. So what is this coordinate? Perfect. These two are in the same position. They're in the same position. Does everybody understand that? They mirror each other. So how far over did you go to get to this? Negative square root of 3/2. That's how far you went over to get this one. This one you went up 1/2. This one you went down 1/2. And it should be negative, negative because it's in quadrant 4, which is negative, negative. Rotate your coordinate. Negative 1/2. Negative square root of 3/2. What's this coordinate going to be? This quadrant is positive, negative. Mhm. These are in the same position, so they just change signs based on the quadrant. So 1/2, negative square root of 3/2. And then when you go up to this one, they rotate positions. So what is this one going to be? And again, their signs are based off what quadrant they're in. The unit circle is not hard, okay? I do it separate so that you can see the 45s and the 90s. You'll only have one piece of paper tomorrow, but if you want to use like 2 different highlighters, you can highlight all of your paper. I don't care, but you will have a quiz on this tomorrow. Does everybody understand? All right, so for the rest of the time, we're going to work on another multiple choice section. And I know that we haven't done everything, but this is what I want to do today. And then we'll continue with the next chapter in our stuff. We'll go over all the answers to the 2 that we just did. And then tomorrow you'll get a new one and I'll look at these. So you have the rest of the period to do this. It should be, I mean, it's 55 minutes. So you guys are right at that right now. Everybody good? All right.